DT, where you're listening. You're watching on Facebook Live on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, being shared on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, and of course on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. So however you're tuning into the show this morning, I welcome you all in, and thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast where sports truly meets that thing called life. And I hope you're having, like I said, a fantastic morning this morning, and really just making the most out of your time and out of your life and out of the blessings that you have, and that you're appreciating those blessings truly today and always. So, inside the Cafe Cubal Studios, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Appreciate your patience. I've been up for the last 3 hours off and on with a dog not feeling well. So, if we could all just say a prayer this morning for Lily, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God, please take care of my baby, Lily. Help her to be safe and sound, and for whatever's wrong with her to not be serious, to not be long-term, to not be life-threatening. And may she feel good and be good. She has had such an incredible life. She's a little young pup, and may she continue to have a great life and be well and stay well. And if there is anything wrong, please help them find what it is, and please help to prevent it in the future, as well as any other things that could hurt her in any way, shape, or form. May Lily be healthy, safe, happy, and have a fantastic, fantastic life. May she just be getting started, and may it be long and fun and go by slowly. And may you always be with her in Jesus' most precious name, traveling, staying put, or both. Amen. In the name of the Father. Prayer for Lily, everybody, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that this morning on the show. So, there's a lot going on. My Uncle Pat passing away. I was up late trying to fix something in my house that I couldn't figure out how to get fixed. And then I thought Lily may have gotten sick last night, but I wasn't sure. So I continued to sleep. And then I woke up this morning and found out that she did get sick. And then I found out she got sick again. And then I fed her and she got sick again. So I'm happy that she's trying to eat. I'm happy that she's drinking water, but I'm not happy that she's getting sick. So just say a prayer for Lily, and that everything will be okay with her, because this is not a ideal situation, and I love her very much. So I just hope that whatever's bugging her will stop bugging her sooner than later, and we could figure out what it is and get her on the mend and get her well. And, she doesn't usually have to take medicine and stuff, so I just want to make sure she's going to be okay in all ways, shapes, and forms. So just continue to pray for her and hope for her, and hopefully everything will be all right with Lily this morning. So my heart has been through way too much lately, and so I just hope she'll be okay. So we say a prayer for Lil Bills and hope that she's going to be all right. So just keep praying, everybody, and thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your positivity. Thank you for your kind words and for your good energy. So we'll have a lot of good energy on today's show, and hopefully that'll be helpful. With that being said, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we have the opportunity to bring you our trio of topics our trio of segments, I should say, that we do every single Friday. We'll start off with the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt. Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. The top dog of the week will be announced, brought to you by K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. And then I'll have a special on faith, football, fatherhood, marriage, name, image, and likeness, and more with my guy, John Kinder, who will be joining the show, a Syracuse and Stony Brook quarterback alum, joining the broadcast this morning. So a lot of good stuff coming up here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we appreciate you being here. And, of course, thank you for your patience this morning, as my pup was sick and we were trying to get her better, and I'll be bringing her to the vet after the show this morning. So just keep praying for Lily and keep the well wishes coming and all the positive energy. We can take it all. We need it all, and we'll utilize it. So thank you for that. With that being said, let's hop into the first piece of MonPausPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', which is the Annoying Moment of the Week.
Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel, DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week, proudly brought to you by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. My annoying moment of the week for this week happened earlier on, and it is the fact of when people go to movie theaters and they see a movie and they feel the need. I always try to talk really low. I'll say something like, "Oh, that's crazy," or something like that. I'll make small talk with the person that I'm with, and then after I exit the theater and we're in like a safe space away from everybody, usually sitting in a car or maybe on the phone with someone, I'll talk about the movie. But not in the theater, and not in front of the theater, and not in the bathroom of the theater. So basically what I'm saying this morning is my annoying moment of the week is that when I went out to see Black Widow, I had the wonderful opportunity of y'all out there in a group of people, a group of friends or whatever, literally stood in front of the theater, so like every single person that walks by you can hear what you're saying. Like every single person. All of us. You're standing in front of the doors, essentially. You're like a couple steps from the door. So we can hear everything that you're saying about the movie. Why? Well, I can't stand when people spoil movies. I can't. It bugs the heck out of me. But I really can't stand when somebody talks about a movie in a movie theater after they saw a movie with other people going into the movie. And that happened when Star Wars was coming out. And these people were walking out of the theater in droves. There was a ton of them. So they're walking out of the theater, right? And we're all walking in. And this was like crazy midnight show, like a ton of people. And you feel like, and I think like, you know, there was a guy that was trying to ruin the movie, like coming out, trying to say like what happened and this and that. I mean, those are really sad people in life. Those are genuinely people that have no life, that don't feel loved, that probably go home alone. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk. I'm saying that because I'm being honest. Like, what person in their right human mind would ever leave a theater and be like, let me ruin everybody's fun tonight? Like, literally, all of these strangers, these like 500 people that are standing here, let me ruin everybody's night because I'm miserable. Like, with all due respect to your miserableness, keep it to yourself. Or go see a therapist. Or, you know, I mean, like, if you told me you were having problems and you wanted to talk about it and you were a total stranger, I'd sit with you. But you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to sit with you and talk about the movie that you just saw, okay? Because I'm about to go in to see it. So you need to do us all a grand favor and cater to see the movie. The movie that nobody ruined for you. The movie that you got to see without any interruption. The movie you got to see without anybody bothering you, more than likely. And if somebody did bother you, well, you know what? Don't pay that forward. Be better than that person. It's ridiculous when people ruin movies. It's ridiculous when people ruin movies and TV shows, really anything. When somebody tries to ruin your fun. I make it a point to not tell people things. You know? Like, I'll go see something and I'll be like, wow, that was great. That was really good. You're going to like it. You know, that's what I'll say. Or I'll say, wait until, you know, you get deeper into the series. I think it gets better. You know, I'll say something like that. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to tell you what happens in the movie. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to tell you how it ends or who dies or whatever. And these people are genuinely standing in front of the theater, I kid you not, and they're talking about the movie. They're talking about Black Widow in front of the, like, here's the door to the theater, and they're right here. They're like a couple steps away, and they're facing all of us that are walking into the movie theater. They're facing everybody. So anybody that walks into that theater, they're hearing what this person has to say. They could totally be not paying any attention whatsoever and then hear, oh, and then Black Widow, blah, 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 blah. You know, and you're like, are you serious right now? Are you, you know, which, you know, obviously is a night at the museum. Are you serious right now? Are you serious? But, like, I mean, it's just, It's the reality of having to literally walk into a theater, especially for a movie like Black Widow, which we waited for longer than we needed to wait for. Because we waited for it for, what, a decade? And then we had to wait another year plus because of Corona. And so the movie's coming out, and it's not even like these people were being mean, you know, like, oh, let's ruin it for everybody. I mean, I don't think, unless they had that conversation before I walked by. But sorry, there's a fly in the studio to add to the ridiculousness. But I legitimately, I mean, they looked harmless. They looked like harmless people, right? They didn't look like they were trying to ruin the movie for people. It looked like they just wanted to have a friendly discussion about it. Like, what did you think? What did you think? You do that someplace else. You do that at somebody's house. Everybody get together. Whose house are we going to? We going to Stacy's house? Okay, let's go to Stacy's house. We're going to talk about it at Stacy's house. We're going to have a little dinner, and we're going to talk about it at Stacy's house. We're not going to talk about it in front of the theater. Don't ever talk about a movie in front of the theater. I don't care what you saw. I don't care if you saw the Titanic, and we all know how it ended in real life. Don't talk about it in front of the theater. Don't ever talk about it in front of the theater. Not even a little bit. Not even a smidgen. Just walk away. Don't do it. If I had a bunch of friends who were talking about a movie, I think this has happened to me before, with a bunch of friends who were talking about the movie in front of the theater, I walked away. I was like, I'm not ruining the movie for other people. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to be part of the conversation that people walk by and they're like, wow, those people are really, you know, those guys are jerks. You know what I mean? Like, why would they talk about the movie right in front of all of us when we're going to see it? Don't ruin that. I'm notorious for not ruining stuff. Like, I just can't, I don't want to do it for anybody. Like, it's very important to me that everybody, I mean, when I go to Disney and I go on the ride and people are like filming the ride and putting it on YouTube, I don't do that. Why don't I do that? Because I think you should experience it for yourself. You know, well, I like to know, Dan, because I want to know if it's safe for my kids. Okay, well, I understand that, but I can talk to you about it. I can help you set up your trip. It's what I do with Dan on Disney. You shoot me an email, I'll help you set up your family vacation. Right? You can send it to dtstays@gmail.com if you'd like. And I'm more than happy to help. So, but outside of, I mean, I don't like ruining things for people. Like, I just don't find, I would never want somebody to do that to me. I would never want somebody to take something away from me. So there's no way that I'm going to do that to somebody else. I don't have it in me. And I don't understand how somebody can stand in front of a theater as a grown adult in their 20s, if not 30s, and something in their brain doesn't click that maybe this is not the best place to talk about the movie I just saw, while everybody else is walking into the theater to go see this movie. More than likely, the majority of the people going to the theater on that day at that time were probably going to see Black Widow. I would venture to say that 75 to 80% of the people that walk by these people were going to see Black Widow. So with all due respect, don't talk about it until you get in your car or go somewhere else. Thank goodness these people don't work for the CIA or the FBI. They'd be like, hey, remember that bunker that we hid in? It's located on ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Like, I mean, you know, just no. No. And I'm such a moviegoer, so that's like a huge pet peeve of mine. My friends know they'll ruin it for me. Whether or not they mean to, they will. And I don't want you to ruin the movie. Like, there's nothing inside of me that thinks you should talk about a movie in front of a theater. So, it's my annoying moment of the week because it has to be. I literally wrote it down like right after it happened. I'm like, this is the annoying moment of the week. I don't even have to think about the annoying moment of the week. I had this annoying moment of the week so ready, so early, it was ridiculous. So, with all due respect to those people that did that at the theater, you know who you are, and you would not want it to somebody to do it to you. So if you really genuinely had no idea what you were doing and your brain capacity couldn't figure that out, I'm telling you out of the goodness of my heart, don't ever talk about a movie in front of a theater ever again. Go someplace where you are in a safe space where there's no one around you and talk very low, and then you can talk about the movie. Because there's a thing called common human decency, and for some odd reason, we don't all have it. So please, please don't talk about movies in front of movie theaters anymore. Or in the bathroom, or in the lobby, or literally anywhere connected to the movie theater. Go somewhere else and keep it to yourself, because chances are you're not the only person going to the movies in America. So you should probably not talk about it, especially in front of the theater. Please and thank you. With that being said, that's my annoying moment of the week this week. I got heated. It's just, I mean, it is. It's just, I mean, if you love going to the movies, you get it. You're nodding your head with me right now, being like, yeah, Dan, that happened to me before. Like, you get it. So let's just be smart about it, and let's be good about it, and let's not do that, okay? With that being said, we'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Juanita Ward will join us for Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. Proudly brought to you by Chick-fil-A, Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay. You just listened to the Annoying Moment of the Week, brought to you by Carvel, DeWitt. 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like, and it's the only place you will find the Wake Up Call signature Orange Dream Sundae. The Orange Dream Sundae featuring my spin on an orange creamsicle as a sundae, and you can also get it in shake form. So as a sundae or a shake, you can go out and get it today. So make sure you venture out there and get the Orange Dream exclusively on site, on location at Carvel, DeWitt. I appreciate y'all, and I look forward to talking with you all soon. With that being said, we'll take a step aside on Wake Up Call inside the Cafe Kubal Studios and be back with Juanita in just a moment.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, hanging out inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, listening on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, wakeupcalldt.com, as well as watching and listening on Facebook.com/live-now-dt, Facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on YouTube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're tuning into the show, I thank you so much for being here with us where sports truly meets life inside of these Cafe Kubal studios. It's that time right around 9:30 a.m. on a Friday where I have the opportunity to bring you an acronym that you've come to know and hopefully appreciate and love. It's called LEAD, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. And LEAD proudly presented to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, now with 2 locations in Central New York, both proudly partnered with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It is my absolute honor to say that we're not only working with Chick-fil-A, but working with Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, 2 fantastic locations on 2 different parts of town that can help you to get that one, not only the wonderful food that you love, but the wonderful service, the kindness, and the compassion. Make sure you watch our new special with Chick-fil-A called The Light Between Us, which is available on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, and on YouTube.com/Wake Up Call DT. So a lot of great stuff going on here, and really do appreciate the fact that we've had the opportunity to share so many great things with Chick-fil-A, one of them being working with a fantastic motivational speaker, a very faithful person, an author, and just an incredible human being, and that is Miss Juanita Ward, who joins me as my co-host every single Friday here with LEAD, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. So let's bring in Juanita. Juanita, how you doing today?
Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Doing well, and Juanita, I know that you can appreciate the world of dogs. You know, I told you all this stuff that is going on in the background of my life off the air. I have a fly in my studio. It's a tiny baby minuscule fly, and people watching me on video right now are watching me blow into the air and swat at nothing. And I feel like this fly is just, I'm looking up at God going, did we need this today? Did we need this little guy today? And you know what? He doesn't show up anywhere else, just here. He was in the studio yesterday, then he took a nap, and now he's back this morning because Papa turned the lights on. So I can't with this fly right now. I want him to live. I want him to have a fantastic long fly life far, far away from my studio and my office. But with that being said, today's all about spreading a positive message in today's world, and we have the opportunity to talk about that. I have a lot of things that would make me go the other way, but I believe that even in the darkest of days, we have to spread a positive message. So I hand it over to you for this, Miss Juanita. What would you like to start with?
Well, Dan, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening, because it's extremely important. Like we said again, if it's only one person, one seed that we are touching and affecting, that one seed is going to touch another generation, and it's going to continue to keep going. And that's what we do. What you and I are doing every single Friday is we're spreading love. We're spreading positivity. What you speak out of your mouth is the seeds that you plant. You plant them in your heart. You're planting them out in the atmosphere, because you want something to transpire from what you're talking about and what you're saying. We have to be so locked in and so tuned in to what we've written down in our future, as far as our vision and our goals and our aspirations, that it has to line up with who we are. And if we continue to speak negative stuff towards our future and our goals, or towards our relationship, or towards our building our future, we'll never be able to amount or achieve what we have envisioned for us. I'm always reminded in Jeremiah 29:11, it says this: "For I know the plans that I have for you, thus says the Lord, plans of good and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope." And if our future and hope is supposed to be greater than our past, then why do we allow our present to determine or dictate what our next is going to be? So we have to be able to spread love. We have to be able to show what that looks like. We have to be able to speak positivity, to speak those things as though they were into our life. I know this to be true. Albert Einstein didn't wake up and go, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to come up with this great philosophy. I'm never going to be able to come up with this great idea, this great understanding. I'm never going to be able to do. He spoke things into the atmosphere that was going to change lives for generations and generations and generations to come. And we're still reading about Albert Einstein, and we're still reading about his quotes. And his quotes still have a deeper thought and a deeper meaning. The reality is, what are you going to do with the ideas and the visions that you have inside of you? Are you going to share that with the world and create something positive? Or are you going to hold in what a seed that's inside of you that needs to be birthed? You have to water the seed inside of you by speaking life over it, by speaking life into the atmosphere, because what you say will affect somebody else, and how you act will affect somebody else. When people come around you, they want to be affected in a good way. I've never seen anybody that want to go around somebody else and be affected in a negative way. Every time you're around somebody, somebody is learning something from you. And you have to be able to teach them every single time you have the opportunity. And what are you teaching them? It should be positivity. It should be greatness. It should be go for your goals. It should be don't stop your vision. It should be don't back down to anything. This is the year of divine acceleration and divine connection. So we have to be able to divinely connect ourselves with people that are going to go in the directions and the places that we want to go. But in order to do that, we have to first check ourselves and make sure that we're speaking the right words.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like you said, you have to water, and it's funny that you say that, because people say the grass is greener on the other side. And there's a quote that I follow all the time that I can't take credit for, but the grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is green where you water it. So knowing that, the grass is green where you tend to it. I mean, it's like a normal garden, and people that know me know that I do not like to garden. It is not my thing. And my dad likes it. I do not. And that like I'm frustrated with life, or something's on my mind that I need to get my mind off of when I'm gardening. Well, this week I was gardening. And so in my gardening this week, I started to tug at something. There was a bunch of stuff that was here that's the prior owner of the house had kind of left. And what they left was, I thought to myself, I was like, oh, this thing is a bush. It's supposed to turn into something. It's supposed to probably bud flowers and whatnot. But it ended up just looking like this like bush of sticks. It genuinely just looked like sticks. And I was like, what is this thing? Like, it's ugly. It's strange. It doesn't do anything. There's normally like a tree that tries to like create itself within it, but there's nothing of it. And so I started to pull on it yesterday. And when I pulled on it yesterday, the pieces came out like nothing. And when the pieces came out, I was like, oh, okay, let me pull on it again. And more pieces came out. And more pieces came out. More pieces came out. I ended up pulling the entire thing out. And now in front of my house, there's this wide open space for me to do whatever I want to do with it. And you know what I realized was that I thought that that stick bush, whatever you want to call it, I thought that it was stuck there. I thought that I couldn't do anything about it. I thought I couldn't pull the weed, so to speak. And when I pulled at the weed and the weed came out, and I pulled more at the weed and the weed came out, you know what I realized is that I'm in control of what stays in my garden. I am in control of what I keep in my life. I am in control of what I'm going to focus on and what I'm going to let run me. And it ran me. Every day I'd back out of the driveway and I'd look at this thing and I'm like, that is so ugly. Why does it have to be there? And I never took it out. 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 And I look back on past relationships that I've been in, professionally and personally, and I said to myself, how many times did I have a relationship that wasn't bearing fruit? It wasn't creating. It was destroying. It wasn't creating flowers. It wasn't blooming. It was just ugly. It was just bad. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't doing anything for me. It was just sitting in my garden, taking up space. It was sitting in my memory, taking up space. It was sitting on my heart, taking up space. And when I pulled that out yesterday, I realized something. We think that we are a victim of our thoughts. We are controlled by our thoughts. We cannot do anything about our thoughts. Our thoughts own us. We have to pay rent to them. And that's not true. The truth is, you have the capability. God made you the gardener. He gave you your heart that you're supposed to trust. He gave you your thoughts that you're supposed to sift through. He gave you your experiences that you're supposed to learn from, and he gave you an opportunity for wisdom and knowledge that you're supposed to take. And what I learned about my life yesterday, pulling that thing, was, wow, that bush sat there for 4 years, and it never had to sit there for a day. And when I tugged on it, thinking this was going to be a really hard thing to get rid of, it was the easiest thing to pull out of my garden outside of like the typical vines. And so how many times do we let something sit and fester and just be ugly on our minds and in our hearts? How many times do we let something stand in our way like fear to keep us from something that's ugly? Well, I tended to my garden yesterday, and it looks a lot better this morning. And I guess that's the perfect analogy for what we're talking about this morning from my life.
You know, Dan, there's a lot of things that people have inside of them. And you hit something that was so key. Are we going to allow those dead weeds to stay in our life, or are we going to pluck them out? Are we going to weed them out? How are we going to do that? Do we just allow it to just continue to grow a big, humongous bush, or do we cut it down? Because whatever we allow to grow, that's what we become. And it all comes back to us. How can we change a situation? Check yourself. What are you allowing into your mind? What are you allowing into your heart? What are you allowing through your eye gate? What are you allowing to come through your ear gate? What are you touching? What are you smelling? What are you eating? Everything falls back on us, and we can change the direction, or we can change the atmosphere around us, the environment around us. You hear this phrase all the time. I want to be around good vibes. I need good vibes in my life. I got good vibes going on right now, right? Or you hear this, I need good energy. I got good energy going on. Well, the thing is, get away from people, get away from situations. Let me just be real with you, okay? Get away from people and situations that are going to bring negativity into your life. Because in order for you to grow, we are a plant. We're a flower. In order for us to grow, we have to feed ourselves with the right nutrients. And if we are not feeding ourselves with the right nutrients, what goes inside of us is going to come out of us. That's what we're going to attract. We are a plant, and we attract whatever it is that we dwell on. So what do you listen to all the time? Who are you around all the time? Where does your mind allow you to go? Like, is it sending you towards something that's not fruitful? Is it sending you towards something that is fruitful? Is your body gravitating towards more negativity? If you go back over the course of years of your life, how much junk have you had in your life versus how much positivity have you had for your life? We have to be able to assess. And not all the time is it that people around us are bad. You can easily remove yourself from any situation that causes you to think different, act different, walk different, talk different. You got the right to do that. As you just said, Dan, you're in control. We are one body in control. We control where we walk. We control where we talk. You control your emotions and your feelings. You control that because you don't allow other people to plant something inside your life that doesn't have the right to grow there. Whatever you want to grow, you have to be so locked in and so tuned in to your body, and be able to say, you know what, that's not the vibe that I'm on today. That's not the energy that I want today. I want this energy. See, we have to get back focused of the plans that we have placed before us. And we have to get so lined up and so tuned into our goals. I believe that everything has creeped in and minds have become cluttered that they don't even know exactly where direction or where they want to go anymore in life. They're just following the crowd now. There has to be an individual that step out and say, you know what? I'm not going left because everybody's going left. I'm not going left. I'm going to go right. It's only a few people going right. And I see a ton of people going left. Let me tell you something. The world is going to hit you smack in the face. And if you're not ready to stand and make a decision on which direction you want to go, You're going to be picking out more weeds. You're going to be pulling out more things that you didn't plant there. And the previous owner that was trying to take over your body was planting that stuff. It's the previous people that was in your life before you kicked them out of your life. They planted seeds there that was not supposed to grow. So you have to cleanse yourself. You have to say, God, listen, just take all this out of me that's not right, because I need to have a clear vision. I need to have more of a 20/20 vision. My vision isn't clear. I need to have a better way to hear things, a better way to taste things. I need to have a better walk with you. And the only way I can do that is if I have faith to believe that I can achieve more things. And if I can't achieve those things, then what am I doing? I believe that each and every person and each and every individual can achieve more. You know, there's an acronym for team. Together, everyone achieves more. The acronym for team means together, everyone achieves more. Align yourself with people that want to achieve more. Align yourself with people that want to think positive. Align yourself with people that want a vision beyond where they can reach right now. If your vision is reachable, it's not a vision that you need to have. You need to have a vision that's unreachable so God can show up and show you that he's the one that does the impossible. I would rather have that vision that I can't reach, and I know that if I lay it in God's hand, that he's going to take me further than I can ever think, ask, or imagine. He's going to supersede my dreams. But if I have something that I can reach right now, it's not really worth it, because you're settling too small. Enlarge your territory. Think bigger. But in order to do that, you got to not plant yourself with people that's not wanting to go to a higher place. You have to plant yourself with people and surround yourself with opportunities and situations that's wanting to take you to a higher place. You have to plant yourself with people that's feeding positivity and love. In order for us to spread the positive message, we have to be filled with positivity. You can't be filled with negativity, because you're not going to spread a positive message. You're going to spread a negative message. And that negative seed is going to continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. And sooner or later, it's going to pull you in. Cut the umbilical cord off the negative seed. Stop being fed that and be fed positivity. And that's what you're doing every time you come to lead. You're being fed positivity, not negativity, because we want you to grow. We want you to know who you are. We want you to identify who you really are. There's a king on the inside of each and every one of us. And there's a lion on the inside of every one of us. We have to be ready to take the stand. We have to just open up our mouth and roar. But we can't do that if we're filled with the wrong nutrients. I've never known people to go to the kitchen and just eat something that was extremely, extremely poisonous. At least you got common sense to not put poison into your mouth. We got to have the understanding and the idea that feeding ourselves with positivity is greater. It will supersede anything that we can ask, think, or imagine. And all the dead weeds that's inside of us will be plucked out, because we know who we are, and then we will know whose we are.
You know, today's conversation is beautiful, and today's conversation is fruitful. Today's conversation is a reminder, a big reminder about life. And I'm moved by your words, Juanita, and it means a lot to me, because it is true. It's what we put in. It's what we're doing. What are we allowing? You know, fear before, you know, in just looking at what fear is, looking at what fear does to people. You know, I'm afraid of what's going to happen. I'm afraid. Well, you know what? I will tell you flat out. If I was afraid to start my business, I'd be working for somebody else right now, miserable. If I was afraid to show love, I wouldn't have the friends and family that I have. If I was afraid to try again, I wouldn't have Lily, because having my other dogs passing away broke my heart. So I can tell people that, you know, living in fear, living in what what people plant inside of you, it's so easy for somebody to plant inside of you something, right? They want to tell you. I've had so many people tell me about their experiences. Oh man, I don't know if I would do this because this, and this is going to happen. You know, I've dealt with stuff in church where people said, well, you don't want to go down that road because I'll tell you this is going to happen and this is going to happen. I've dealt with stuff in business. Well, I wouldn't do that because this is going to happen and this is going to happen. They put their fears on me. I had people tell me, don't ever get married. Don't ever get it. Don't ever try. Because eventually your life will be miserable. And I remember looking at them one day and going, you know what? It's not my fault that your life is miserable. It's not my fault or anybody else's fault that you married maybe the wrong person and maybe you're not happy. It's not my fault that when you started your business, you had that business partner that really just didn't do right by you. And I'm sad that you went through it. But your negativity toward me, some people listen to that. Some people hear fear and they listen to it. Oh man, this is going to be really hard for you. And they run and they scream. Think Michael Jordan listened to fear? Think LeBron James listens to fear? You think Venus and Serena Williams listen to fear? You think Danica Patrick listened to fear when she was told it was a man's sport over and over and over again? You think that Harriet Tubman listened to fear? Martin Luther King listened to fear? Abraham Lincoln listened to fear? The greatest people on this planet, no greater than Jesus Christ himself. Jesus Christ was tempted by the devil in the desert multiple times. Fear upon fear upon fear upon fear. Jesus, you scared now? Where's your God now? You alone now? Are you fearful now? Why don't you give in to me now? Why don't you let me help you now? I'll make sure you're not afraid. How many times have we succumbed to fear? How many times were we didn't think we were worthy enough, good enough, strong enough, ready enough to jump on a precipice? How many times did our selfishness and self-centeredness and inability to do for others what we want done for us keep us from something? How many times did you stand in your own way? How many times did you let those weeds grow? How many times did you let the weeds that people planted inside of you of fear grow, of your past grow, of that everybody's the same grow, everything will always be the same grow? How many times did you do that? And did you ever weed it out? Are they still there? Listen, I'm not a perfect human being. I went and plucked some weeds over the last year and a half, and you know what, Juanita? Those weeds were there for a decade. Those weeds were there for 10 years, 12 years, 17 years, 7 years. I had to pluck a lot of weeds. I had a lot of work to do. I sweat a lot. I got bit up by a lot of mosquitoes. My arms got cut up. My hands got cut up. My legs got cut up. There was sweat on my brow. And I had to keep throwing clothes in the wash and clothes in the wash and clothes in the wash and clothes in the wash. But you know what? I cleaned it. I fixed it. I changed my future. And so I can tell people that if you're not willing to look the devil in the eye, look fear in the eye, look those weeds that have grown in your brain and in your heart in the eye, you're never going to advance, you're never going to grow, and you're never going to get there. What you speak is what you become. That's what Juanita said. What you speak is what you become. You call yourself a failure, you will be. You say you'll never find something, you won't. You think when somebody's looking for a necklace, they walk around the parking lot saying, I'm never going to find it, never going to find it, never going to find it, never going to find it? No. They say, God, where is it? God, where is it? Oh, St. Anthony, please come around. Something's lost that must be found. That's what we say when we're looking. That's what we say. It is easy to be negative. It is easy to think the world has it out for you. It is easy for me to take what I talked about with Juanita off the air about my morning this morning and all this stuff. It's easy for me to go, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and oh my goodness, I can't deal with it. I cannot deal with it. It's too much. There's too much going on. I'm going to succumb to it. No, I can't succumb to it. I cannot. And I will not. And so I know there's somebody out there today that's afraid. I know there's somebody out there today that hasn't weeded their garden. I know there's somebody out there today that doesn't believe that they're a good enough gardener to even weed it. I know there's some people out there that don't know who the master gardener is that will help you weed the garden and never leave you alone when you're trying to weed that garden. That promised you a future and a hope. That told you that he loved you patiently and kindly. That he does not boast. That he does not envy, that he does not delight in evil. He always prospers, always endures, and never fails you. Everything we need, we were born with. God put it inside of you. And every time you forget about that light, he takes a match and he goes, hey dear, hey son, here you go. Hey love, here's a match. You forgot I put that candle in there. You know what? Let me light this for you today. Let me remind you who you are. Social media is not going to tell you who you are. The people that broke your heart and put you down are not going to tell you who you are. The people that left your life are not going to tell you who you are. The people that didn't hire you are not going to tell you who you are. The people that failed to see your greatness will never tell you who you are, but somebody already did, wrote it on your soul the day you were born. I have called you by name and you are mine. Be still and know that I am God. Be still. Trust me. Trust me. I read the Old Testament in Bible study over and over and over again, and all I kept hearing God say was, trust me. Why don't you trust me? Will you trust me? Can you trust me? Shouldn't you trust me? One more time, trust me. That's all I heard. I heard a father cry out to his kids, please have faith in me. And I look at my life today, and a lot of things don't make sense. And you know what God said to me this morning? Hey, son, I got a match. Let me light this candle for you again.
You know, Dad, it's at that moment right there is where we say God is so sovereign and he's so faithful and his love is so genuine. Because no matter how deep we go, no matter how far we go, no matter if we turn our back on him, he's still there saying, hey, daughter, hey, son, I love you. Somebody blew that candle out, but guess what? Daddy's right here to help put it back together, to light it again. Right here. My love is so deep. My love runs deeper than anything. I will leave the 99 just to come for you. Just you. Just that one person. God said he'll leave the 99 to come for that one person. Because that one person he needs. My question to everybody that's listening today, will you be the one person that God comes running to? And if it isn't but one person on this call, or if it isn't but one person that listens to this show and say, look, I'm that person, great. I applaud you. And I'm proud of you. Because you're that one person that's taking a leap of faith. That's saying, I don't have to do anything but just come to you. I'm tired of running. I'm tired of going the way that I thought was the best way to go. I can't do this. Things in life are spinning out of control. Things in my life are just going all over the place. And I thought I had a grip on life, but obviously I don't. I can't do anything else. I need you to put my light back on. I need you to really, really turn my light back on. Because my light has gone dim. And I don't know how to put it back. And God is saying, look, the only thing I needed you to do, the only thing I ever need you to do is just trust me. In the good and in the bad, just trust me. Just trust me. I love you. Just trust me.
That coming this morning, chills on my knee right now. From Juanita Ward and myself, Dan Tortora, inside of our segment, Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. Proudly brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Just when all else fails, trust God. What did somebody say to me before? It was recently. They said, you know, we've tried everything else. Why don't we try God? And that just hits me a certain way. And, you know, I've been reading the Bible lately. I've been realizing some people take the Bible so literally. But I've been reading the Bible lately, and I've been reading Mother Teresa's words lately. I want to read something by Mother Teresa that she said. I actually really want to read this because it's been on my mind. And Mother Teresa had this beautiful, beautiful thing that she did a lot of beautiful words, and so many. And this is one of them that she had said, and I want to read it. There's actually a few, but this one, well, she said this: I pay no attention to numbers. What matters is the people. I rely on one. There is only one, Jesus. And then she said this: true love causes pain. Jesus, in order to give us the proof of his love, died on the cross. A mother, in order to give birth to her baby, has to suffer. If you really love one another, you will not be able to avoid making sacrifices. And I've just realized over time the evolution of my ability to love something and what it does for me and how I attack my life and how I go about my business. And I want to thank Mother Teresa's words because they've spoken to me. I want to thank God's words because they've spoken to me. And I want to thank God for the fact that my candle has taken a lot of hits. A lot of hits. And he said, Daniel, your candle was blowing sideways and the light stayed on. And now as you stand still, you're confused by the fact that it blew out. But I got this match. And I want to light this candle again. And I'll light your candle anytime you need it. All you have to do is ask me. That's all I wanted you to do, Daniel, was to not do it by yourself. To just ask me. To just say, hey, God, this is a lot. This is a lot, and I need your help. And he said, man, that's all I was waiting for. I got this match, and it's been lit. But if you don't give me permission to light your candle, I'm not going to do it. So this morning I asked God to light my candle, to light your candle, to light Juanita's candle, to light the candle of people that you love, to light the candles that need to be lit. And I want to end with saying that my great, great, amazing other mom in my life, Mary, I got a bunch of moms, and I have a great one biologically too. And Mary this week went to church. She said, Daniel, I lit a candle for you today. And this is what I prayed for. And she sent me that. And as soon as she sent me that text message, that candle did something. As soon as she lit that candle, I felt it. So if Mary, a human being, can light a candle in a church and I can feel it from over 1,000 miles away, how great is the candle that God will light if you ask him to?
Just trust him.
Yeah. That coming from Juanita Ward, myself, Dan Tortora. Juanita, as always, I appreciate you. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Thank you for everything. It's great to have you here. God bless you as always. Thank you for being my sister. And thank you for your words this morning. And I'll take that love and I'll take that kindness and that goodness from you today. And I just want to say thank you again for everything.
Thanks, Dan, man. It's always a good time to be here. It's always a good time to share the love. Only thing we got to do is just trust him.
Amen. We'll talk soon. That coming from Juanita Ward here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we'll be giving you our top dog of the week inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, and John Kinder's still coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Right after this fast break.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com/livenowdt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. You can see it all right here, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Inside the Cafe Kubal Studios, Cafe Kubal, with all of their awesome locations, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, also Kubal Co-works, where you can rent out space for your business and have your podcasting headquarters upstairs. Of course, they have the 401 South Salina Street and inside of Galasanos Children's Hospital. All of those are in Syracuse, all 5 of those locations. Then on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and their newest location, which has a drive-through for the first time ever, the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse, Sweetheart Corners, Cafe Kubal. So make sure you head out to all their locations and go out to see the Syracuse Nationals. And they'll be there this weekend as well, which is really cool and exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. So with all that being stated here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, it's time to do our Top Dog of the Week. Top Dog, proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. Lily, I need your help. Top Dog of the Week this week, guess who it is? It's Syracuse football. Why? Because they finally decided to put somebody on the schedule that was worthy of a prime time matchup. Whoa. You know, they used to non-conference play people. The Big Ten, the SEC, they used to challenge themselves. Now, I know that Syracuse is not where they used to be, and I understand the football program is a team that people are concerned that Ohio and Rutgers may beat this year, and Liberty again. But Syracuse scheduling these games makes me excited. I'm looking forward to it because we haven't had games like this on the schedule in forever. So, not that I disrespect the teams that they're playing and not that I don't appreciate the teams that they're playing, but putting an SEC team on the map is good to see. And it's helpful. Why? Because Tennessee's not where they used to be. Syracuse isn't where they used to be. So now they have a chance to face each other and find out where they can be in 2025. And it's connected to Chick-fil-A. And obviously I'm biased. I love Chick-fil-A. So the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, which I was at a few years ago, Alabama, Florida State, now gets to see Syracuse face off against Tennessee of the SEC, ACC-SEC Chick-fil-A kickoff game in Atlanta, Georgia, in the beautiful arena, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where the Atlanta Falcons play, where I've been a couple times. Actually, I was the first day of this year, January 1st, 2021. I was there for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl between Georgia and Cincinnati. And so this will happen August 30th of 2025, mind you, folks. August 30th, 2025, the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, which puts us in a great scenario and a great situation because the kickoff game means that they'll be kicking off the season, and on August 30th, that will be a Saturday that we'll get to see that happen where Syracuse takes on Cincinnati on the football field. So Syracuse gets my top dog of the week for scheduling a game worth paying attention to. Not that they don't all matter, but this is a big one. This is Syracuse actually doing something of merit in their non-conference. They are facing off against an SEC team. I don't care who it was. I don't care if it's Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, Florida, whoever. But Syracuse being willing to play this game is good stuff. So, if the world is here still in 2025 with all the pandemic and global warming and all this stuff going on and people just acting a fool, if the world is still here, which God willing it will be, we will be able to see Syracuse take on a viable opponent finally. And I'm looking forward to it. SEC's Tennessee, ACC Syracuse, August 30th on a Saturday, 2025, Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Syracuse, you are my top dogs of the week because you actually gave us a game on the schedule that's worth talking about in the non-conference.
You're challenging yourself again, and it's good to see. Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding proudly bringing you this segment, and you can find them both in East Syracuse right off of Bridge Street, just seconds from Erie Boulevard. With that being stated, we'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, John Kinder will be joining us on the show to speak on faith, football, fatherhood, marriage, name, image, and likeness, a.k.a. NIL, and more. He'll put me on the hot seat, too. We're going to have a good time when he spins back around with us on Wake Up Call inside the Cafe Kubal studios right after this. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, is our home for our Liverpool Warrior Athletics exclusive show. On-site, on location, each month at Avicoli's, you will find us there with coaches, players, superintendents, the athletics director, and so many beautiful, beautiful members of our community that support their kids, that are, boosters, alumni, people in the neighborhood, parents, guardians, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, boyfriends, girlfriends, and so on and so forth. Avicoli's is a perfect place for us to have this, minutes from Liverpool High School, and it's a perfect place for you to go to Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. They have multiple ways to enjoy their restaurant on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. And they have the pizza casual side, they have the fine dining, the bar, and the outdoor dining right now during this beautiful weather. Of course, you can call them for takeout, delivery, and catering at 315-622-5100, as well as going to myavicolis.com. Plenty of ways to get in touch with a place that's been with us for decades that has the best veal parmesan around, margarita pizza, their antipasto, so many great things at Avicoli's. Find them today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, and call 315-622-5100. Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, your home for your furry-loving friends for short and long-term care. Look no farther than East Syracuse, right off of Bridge Street, for the daycare that's on 228 Old Bridge Street and the campground that's on 242 Johnson Street. Find your way over to both of these and know that your dogs will be safe, cared for, appreciated, loved, and treated like part of the family. We know that it's very hard to leave our dog for the day or for a few days if we're going on vacation or whatever's going on in our lives. So know that you're placing them in trustworthy hands. It can go to when you're craving their food from the food truck, you can go get all of that and an expanded massive menu of awesome creations that they continue to add to. And I love the minds of Pat Orr over at PB&J's Lunchbox. Find them today on 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Minutes from the highway, the thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway. PB&J's Lunchbox, home of the award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and so much more on 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, located on 791 West Genesee Street in Skinny Atlas, minutes from beautiful Skinny Atlas Lake, is the place to head to for your own personal victory. Listen, we don't like going through injuries. We don't like having to have surgery or having to do rehab and physical therapy, but there's so many reasons to go to Victory. And the main reason for me that I've gone for almost a decade is the fact that they listen to their patients, they care about their patients, and they spend time with their patients. Dr. Mark Petropoli and the entire team at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics make you feel like you matter. No matter how their day is going, they talk with you about whatever's going on with your body from head to toe. They discuss with you options, and they guide you along the way. They know that in order to have victory, you have to take baby steps every day. And every one of those steps is worth going to Victory and setting up. For preventative care, rehab and physical therapy, and for surgery, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, seeing you from head to toe, 315-685-7544. That's 315-685-7544. And as we're here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and have an extra second, we'd love to tell you to find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _ DT. You can also find us on wakeupcalldt.com and on youtube.com/wakeupcall from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports truly meets life here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, on wakeupcalldt.com, on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/livenowdt as well. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, where you are listening worldwide on internet streaming radio, and of course on video here on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and facebook.com/livenowdt here inside of the Cafe Kubal studios on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, 401 South Salina Street, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, all of those locations in Syracuse, and of course on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, where all of the roads converge into Manlius, and their newest location on the Sweetheart Corners of North Syracuse, Route 11 and Taft Road, with their new drive-through location. So, with all that being said, here on TGIF, you heard our trio of segments that we do every single Friday. The Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly brought to you by Carvel, DeWitt. Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver with Juanita Ward, brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And, of course, the Top Dog of the Week was just announced, brought to you by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, which leads us into our final piece of this beautiful week of guests that we've had here on the show, and that is with Mr. John Kinder. John Kinder played quarterback for Syracuse as well as wide receiver, shifted over to Stony Brook and played there on Long Island, and then had an opportunity with West Virginia to learn from them, and of course is here with us today to speak on NIL, name, image, and likeness, as well as life as a father and a husband, and his road to get to where he is today. So, with that being said, I very much appreciate the fact that we finally got this done. John Kinder here with us. John, how are we doing today?
DT, good morning, man. It's good to hear from you, and thank you for having me on. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. And John, I want to say before I go anywhere, thank you for your support. You have been just incredible at reposting stuff, retweeting, favoriting things and whatnot, and supporting things that we've done here on the show. So I just want to say before anything else, thank you so much for the time. It takes a half a second to do things like that, but that half a second you took to support what we do here at Wake Up Call. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Absolutely, man. Anytime, we've been kind of buds for a long time, and when, we get in and out of touch just, due to life circumstances, but, it's always love, man, and we're orange dudes through and through, so.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, and it says something when we could finally get on the phone again, and we get to, speak about a bunch of different things, connect once again, and you're always appreciated, and I always am very thankful for you, whether we talk, today, tomorrow, or the next day. It always means a lot to me to have you back on, and I love the fact that you take the time to take the time. So, with that being said, I want to go back to the Syracuse days, and we'll work our way to where we stand today with name, image, and likeness, as we've seen a transition of what a student-athlete really is defined as. Bring me into Syracuse, hindsight 2020, came in to play quarterback. Ryan Nassib was there. There was some other guys around this, Charlie Loeb as well, and you came in to play the position of quarterback, ended up switching to wide receiver. Eventually, you ended up transferring. Bring me into the whole Syracuse football experience.
Wow, and that's such a loaded question because of how robust my experience was at Syracuse and being a part of the football, the legendary storied football program. I'm just so honored and blessed, honestly, first and foremost, to have, gotten on that bus and driven that route down to class that so many before me had driven. It's just when I really stop and think about it, it's such an awesome experience, and I'm so grateful. to have, just experienced it. But I had a great time with the Syracuse football program. And I should also mention, a lot of people, they remember that I moved to wide receiver and then transferred to Stony Brook. But I always got to remind people that I did receive a bachelor's degree from Syracuse, so that's a big deal to me. And it was a big reason why I decided to, kind of stick it out, because education was always at the, the forefront of, who I am and what my goals were, when I decided to go to Syracuse. So I did get a bachelor's from there, and loved my time. To wrap it up at Syracuse. I loved my time there, and I had some awesome coaches who I am so indebted for, because, I do my training, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit, but everything that I learned and that I'm giving back now is largely due to the stuff that I learned under that staff.
Yeah, and you give credit to the staff that you had. Who had the biggest influence on your life, and what can you say about the Syracuse staff and the relationships that you built?
Who had the biggest impact on my life, that as far as the SU staff goes?
Yeah, you talked about giving the staff a lot of credit, so I wanted to specifically go into some of those relationships and why they were so special and who those people are.
You know what? I think it's a testament to the staff that Doug Marrone assembled, but there were so many that, honestly, there's lessons still that they, preach, that I take with me today, and memories with them and conversations that I've had with multiple guys. I think of Rob Moore, another Long Island guy like myself. So we had that kind of connection, him being a Hempstead guy, and Doug Marrone and Nate Hackett, Greg Atkins, Tyrone Wheatley. Like, really, I was kind of tight with all those guys. And again, it's a testament to Doug Marrone and, like, his ability to get a bunch of guys together who not only love the game, but are, like, super, super, super gifted at what they do. Like, they're damn good coaches.
Yeah, and you bring up these guys. Rob Moore, I want to start with him, a storied wide receiver for the NFL and for Syracuse. What type of impression did he leave on you, and what can you say about that bond?
It was just really neat, having a guy that I know, had driven through Valley Stream and been to, the mall, like the same mall as me, and, just having that Long Island connection was really neat. And then, on top of it, he's a pretty big deal at Syracuse, so having him back was awesome. And he's just a well of knowledge, and it's cool because when I work with quarterbacks and stuff, I also have that wide receiver perspective. I had such a in-depth, crash course of the wide receiver position, being around him, that I'm able to give a little bit of that to the quarterbacks that I work with, and even some of the wide receivers at the high school that I coach at. So you can definitely see the difference that it makes when they have that knowledge and they take it, to the high school level. It's just really fun to kind of see lessons that I learned being passed on and actually, like, executed and effective. So
coming here from John Kinder this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. You mentioned Nate Hackett. That's one of my guys, very close relationship with Nate over the years. What can you say about the impression that Nate Hackett has left with you?
Nate is just a fireball of energy, and that's how I will always remember him. And it's no mistake. I mean, we used to call him a mad scientist, and there's no mistake he is where he is right now. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's still with the Packers in some capacity. I think he might have been the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
But just a really, really talented guy, very smart. Played the game himself at the college level. So another guy who was just had so much knowledge. His dad being, Paul Hackett, being who he is. It was just incredible the amount of information that was pumped into me in those 3 years that those guys were there.
And seeing that, and you brought up Doug Marrone and whatnot. Doug, I've been able to connect with him in Jacksonville, connect with him in Syracuse. Obviously, he spent time with Buffalo and with the New Orleans Saints before that. What did you think about Doug Marrone as an overall leader? Some players said they love playing for him. Some people say he's not a player's coach. How did you assess Doug Marrone, and what can you say about, how was he to you through your eyes?
I would not categorize Doug as a player's coach either, but I will say this: he is a people's coach, and what I mean by that is he understands people. He understands how to get a group of guys to collectively, you know, work towards and achieve a goal, and that's evident, you know, through his path after Syracuse, even, you know, with the Bills and then the Jaguars. He just knows how to organize and get people in the right places, and that's what he's really good at. So I loved, you know, playing for him. As when I came in, we still had a lot of the Saints offense installed, so really, really tough as far as the verbiage goes and the wordiness of plays. That was the first thing I noticed playing for him. I'm like, man, this guy expects a lot out of his quarterbacks. But again, all to my benefit. Little did I know, a lot of that stuff I'm still, you know, preaching and coaching right now.
Yeah, you know, and with you having coaching opportunity right now, share that with everybody, what you're up to, what you're doing, and how you get to mold young minds yourself as a former quarterback and wide receiver. Now you have the chance to bring it to the next generation. Tell everybody kind of what you're doing and what it's brought to your life.
Man, yeah, so I'm just on the outskirts of Buffalo, and I have the ability to coach and train and coach out of high school as an offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach, and it's just awesome, man. I often find myself thinking back to the times that I played, and I'm like, man, it wasn't that long ago that I was, you know, out here grinding 6 o'clock in the morning. So it keeps me young, and it keeps me, you know, energized and with having something other outside of my family, having something to look forward to. And, you know, there's nothing like Friday Night Lights. So I'm just loving coaching high school football, loving coaching quarterbacks right now, and life's pretty good.
You know, taking what you learned from Syracuse and implementing it now, and taking what you learned from other people and whatnot. I want to get to some of the other pieces because we spoke about Syracuse. You did take some time over at Stony Brook on Long Island. What can you tell me about the Seawolves and your experience that you had there?
Stony Brook was awesome. And like I said, after I graduated Syracuse with a bachelor's, was very fortunate enough to be in communication with Chuck Priori, who was the head coach of Stony Brook, and they saw something in my film that, you know, made them feel comfortable with giving me an offer, and I was, you know, super grateful for the opportunity to not only continue to play ball and get an opportunity to start at quarterback, but also just receive a master's. So I was able to get my master's in that 1 year there, and made some really good lifelong friendships. A teammate of mine, Shane Johnson, shout out to Big Shane J. He was a Pitt fifth-year guy like me, lineman, and he and I got real close, and he actually ended up being in my wedding. So, I mean, a lot of good relationships built at Stony Brook, and nothing but love for the Seawolves.
Yeah, you know, and you bring up the fact that, you know, obviously being at Syracuse and getting to play quarterback and wide receiver, in the other side of this, the student athlete, you got to get an education, got to get your bachelor's, then going to Stony Brook, getting it to continue to play football, and you got to get your master's. We don't talk about that enough in sports that, you know, yes, you're a student athlete, and the athlete side of it is under the bright lights, and you know, you're playing all over the country and getting opportunities and exposure and whatnot, and a storied program historically like Syracuse, but you're also getting an education, and that is something that's very near and dear and important to you. I'd love to go to that side a little bit more because you brought it up. Getting a bachelor's at Syracuse, a master's at Stony Brook, how playing a game you love also facilitated an opportunity for you to get not only a bachelor's but a master's degree that you can utilize as you move forward.
Man, I mean, you just hit it on the head. Like, that's it. And it's something that I try to press upon to my guys that I coach and mentor. I ask them all the time, you know, how are you using the game? Like, this game is not only, an outlet for fun, but I mean, it's a vehicle. It's a means of social, you know, upward mobility. Like, guys really can change their lives behind this game. And, you know, that, and you add on the relationships that you get and just the connections and networking that you can do. There's just so much to be gained from this game. And the game surely uses you. So I tell all my guys, you know, how are you using this game? Because the game is going to use you and use you for what you're worth and spit you out. And there's always, it's a revolving door. There's always new, fresh meat coming in. and then you're forgotten. So I always ask these dudes, I really drive it home. How are you using this game?
And when you ask that question, what type of answers do you get from the youth of today?
It's a mixed bag. You really find some kids kind of just they're more mature than others, and they really get it. Especially some of them, they impress you like at a super young age. They kind of they're well beyond their years in terms of how they view the world and their responsibilities and their goals. But it's really a mixed bag. Some guys, it's fun because that's the challenge of it. Like they have no clue, they don't get it, and you spend a great deal of your time not just teaching them X's and O's and mechanics and fundamentals, but you're also like trying to teach those hidden gems of life. You sprinkle those in there, constantly. So it's really fun.
Here with John Kinder this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, played at Syracuse and with Stony Brook on their football programs, and as he just spoke about, gained a degree and how you're using the game. Great question to be asked to yourself as well to other people around you, and like you said, as a coach, to help mold young minds and get them thinking, if they're not already thinking, of how they're utilizing the game to last a lifetime. And we're speaking on this here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. For you, John, after Stony Brook, you got an opportunity with West Virginia as well, and that is something that I know we talked about off the air that was very important to you and meant a lot to you. So I'd love to go into that too, and how, kind of all of these pieces have created the John Kinder we get to see today. What can you say about the experience at West Virginia?
Another just, guy, and I, let me just rewind for a second. I should start with this. None of this, any of this would be possible if not for, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and God has his hand all over my life, because these things are not by accident. And I just thank him for allowing me to stay positive when things didn't go my way and when things didn't kind of, fall in my favor or how I had dreamt it up or written it up. I just thank him for giving me the strength to press on. But the West Virginia experience was nothing short of that. It was totally a God thing. Shout out to Brady Rourke. Brady was an academic advisor, a football academic advisor at Syracuse when I was there. And, we had kept in touch after, while I was there and when I left and went to Stony Brook. And, I was nearing graduation from Stony Brook, and I was just reaching out, trying to utilize my network. I was reaching out to certain people and ended up speaking to him, and he said that they had an internship opportunity, but I would have to drive all the way down to Morgantown, West Virginia, to do the interview. And I think it was like really short notice too. I think the interview might have been something like a week and a half away. And, prayed on it and decided, hey, I need to take this leap of faith because I have no other avenues right now, or, things knocking at my door. So went out, did the interview, and was able to land the internship. And I was serving as an assistant academic advisor with the football team. So it was like really kind of right in my wheelhouse. And it was fun. It showed me a lot. It really matured me. I had gotten married just before I took that job. Actually, October. I took the job in August and got married that October. So there was a lot of new things happening in my life, and really matured me. It was really a year of growth, and then we found ourselves moving back out here to where my wife grew up, and that's where I'm currently located now, just on the outside of Buffalo. But to wrap up the West Virginia experience, it was neat. It was really, really cool. Seeing the academic side of the football program and how that's managed, and that's a whole machine, and that's a really challenging job, is what I have to say. You're trying to take, similar to a coach, you're trying to take all these kids from different walks of life, but instead of getting them to, win games and championships, you're trying to get them all to succeed and do well in an array of classes and courses and subjects. So that's a really challenging job, and I have a lot of respect. Walking away from that, I have a lot of respect for the academic advisors of all collegiate sports, because it's super tough.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, academic advisors, and I mean, there's so many people, the thankless heroes, so to speak, that are a part of all of this. And I mean, now that you've gone through the process and now you're coaching and helping people through the process of paying it forward, do you find yourself kind of, reaching out and texting and saying thank you, or calling and saying thank you, and just, maybe thinking about the people, the academic advisors, the janitors, the teachers, the, staff that helped, put the lines on the football field and whatnot? Do you find yourself having more of an appreciation for everybody that has a piece of the game, so to speak?
Absolutely. You definitely, as you grow, and I would hope that this is in anything, as you grow, you kind of gain that full, all that is super important to the big picture.
That coming from John Kinder here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora this morning inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, telling his story from player to coach and learning in between here and paying it forward. And speaking of paying it forward, you have the opportunity in molding of these young minds to help them to understand kind of what's coming. And amidst what you went through, amidst growing and learning and going to class and being an athlete as well, and basically working 2 full-time jobs at the same time, being away from family, this, that, and the other, and trying to, being a kid, enjoying being a kid, but being responsible. There's all of these things to teach that surround a student athlete. Now there's NIL, name, image, and likeness. Now there's an opportunity for a teenager to make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to go from 0 to 100,000 in a couple months. What is your initial kind of broad scope overall take of name, image, and likeness now that it's here?
Dan, I've yet to hear it kind of put in that way that you just kind of painted that picture of, NIL. And it's honestly, part of it is a scary thought. It is, because without proper guidance and counseling, it can be a scary thing giving, like you said, a teenager, young 20-year-old kid, that type of money, but I do think it's an awesome thing. I'm so happy for these guys. I think it's a long time coming that something like this was, implemented. And they're just, I think the sky's the limit really for how creative some of these kids can get with how they monetize themselves and their image and their brand. I just think it's sweet, and I'm eager to be a part of that process with some of my guys as well. So like I was saying, kids, I just think the biggest thing is kids need proper guidance. I think parents need to doubly get involved now and really be there, because the middleman, that snake in the grass, the leeches are definitely going to start to approach kids, and I think the parents need to get a grip on it, and I think it truly starts at home before a guy like me, a quarterback mentor or a quarterback coach, what have you. I think before a guy like me gets, steps in, the parents definitely need to be hands-on with this thing, or whoever is in the household that's, responsible for these kids. But I'm super, super excited again.
What are you most excited about? What's the biggest benefit of name, image, and likeness in your opinion? And then what is the biggest place of concern for you?
I think it's only fair that, you allow kids to receive financial benefit off of themselves. It's free market, free commerce. Like, it's tough, but at the same time, like I said, it's really, it's such an, what's the word I'm looking for? Taboo thing. You know what I mean? Like teenagers, an 18-year-old making $100,000 a year. Like that's a weird concept. You know what I mean? Like it's cool, but at the same time, like I think it's something that we need to be very careful with, because, the wrong. But in that same breath, I don't think a lot of these places will put their money into someone who would be considered a liability.
Yeah, I think it's a roll the dice. I think businesses are going to roll the dice. Here's a question I have for you, and I brought it up with, many of your brethren in the Syracuse Orange football history, and that is, what happens when a business, any business, let's say let's say a doctor's office, right? A doctor's office says, okay, we got good money. Doctor makes good money. We got a lot of money to spend on marketing. We're going to back this quarterback. We're going to back quarterback A, and we're going to pay him $100,000. And 3 weeks into the season, quarterback A is ousted by quarterback B, and quarterback B is out there. And now here's this doctor's office going, we don't want to keep paying this guy $100,000. And we got him on all of our commercials. He's on our TV stuff. He's on our radio stuff. He's on our billboards. Everybody sees this kid, and he's not a starter. He threw 10 interceptions in the first 3 weeks, and now he's not here anymore. I don't want to pay him this money. I don't want him representing my product because I got a loser representing my product. Now I'm speaking from the business.
Sure. Well, how does that work at the professional level, though? When certain guys get endorsements and they're not necessarily having the best season or patch of their career, they may be on a downslope of their career. How do those guys manage it? I think it's going to be the only way to really do it. I guess right, and this is not to take the innovation out of it, but I think you have to model a lot of the things that they're doing at the professional level if you want to have early success with this. I think you have to have something to kind of gauge.
Right. I think what the issue that I'm getting at is that, once they sign the contract is signed, but businesses are going to be kind of taking a chance. Now, here's the question. What if the business owner or somebody within the business is a booster? What if they sit on the board at the school and they say, hey, we paid quarterback A $100,000. He needs to play. And if they have some pull with the president, have some pull with the chancellor, what are we doing now when boosters and board members and committee members get involved within this name, image, and likeness, and they have a connection to the business, and they say, if we're backing this guy, you need to play him. If we're backing this woman, you need to play her.
Well, we're not necessarily certain that doesn't already happen.
Right.
Right. I don't know if that happens, but it very well could be happening.
Right.
Yeah. So, so that's where I'm at with that. I think that's something that can happen right now. The bribery, the backdoor stuff, with the donors and people who are giving the institution money. Yeah, I totally think that could be happening right now.
And I think a danger of that, and I don't disagree with you, but a danger of that now is that now agents can come in, boosters can come in. So now we're in a situation where stuff that was illegal before to do with an NCAA student athlete now has kind of, there's no restriction, and you can't really police it. So with boosters and agents getting involved, agents are allowed to sign contracts, but they're not allowed to sign a contract stating that they're going to represent them as a pro. And I find that to be kind of ridiculous to think that someone's going to represent them and get in the door and represent a quarterback today and not represent him when he's in the NFL. So, or at least not have some type of handshake backdoor deal type of thing. But with boosters not having restrictions, which used to cause a penalty, or supposed to cause a penalty, and now agents getting involved, like you said, the snakes in the grass. They're not all bad, but this is Wild Wild West right now. And yes, guys get to make money and ladies get to make money off of their name, image, and likeness, which the NCAA has been making billions of dollars off for years upon years upon years. But the boosters and the agents, are you concerned about that? That a 17-year-old kid is, maybe not being educated, doesn't know the information, and he's got boosters and agents in his face. She's got boosters and agents in her face. How do they make these decisions knowing that some of these people are dirty, some of these people are crooked? How do you do this? Because we're in a situation right now where they're not going to give them to the players. The schools aren't. They can hire their own lawyer, hire their own agent, hire their own tax, prep person and all of that. So it's kind of every man and every woman for themselves. Do you see danger in that?
Oh, I totally see danger in that. But I also think that this is something that was talked about, the threat of these type of things. And I just believe at the end of the day, the bottom line of it all was that there was money. For the NCAA to pass this, they must have somehow saw dollar signs themselves in the decision.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of truth to a non-for-profit billion-dollar industry saying, okay, we need to get something off of this, but California also forced their hand. Because when California passed this, it was like, hey, if the NCAA doesn't do a universal thing in some way, shape, or form, then California student athletes are going to benefit and nobody else. And so, I think we're in a place right now where the NCAA really had no choice but to do this. So did they do the right thing? Well, that's up to the minds and thoughts of some people. But did they get forced to do this thing? I would say yes. So, I mean, the NCAA functioning the way that it functions right now, we know that this has been a very one-sided affair, but, what is your take on that? Now that we sit here with the NCAA and we see this billion-dollar industry that says they're non-for-profit and they make money off the backs of the players all the time, getting the players something, I know that, there's a positive in that, but do you think this is the right way to get the players something? Do you think we can get a hold of this at some point?
I don't know. I haven't pondered on that one too much yet. I think it's still super new to me, and I'm still on kind of like riding the high of it. It was news that I was very excited to hear. Like I have a guy right now playing at the Division I level at Rutgers, and I texted him immediately and said, hey, and his parents are phenomenal people, and they're smart, and they're business minded, and so I wasn't worried about him in that sense. I know he's in good hands, but I just wanted to let him know I was there for him, and that I was super excited to help him through this process, because I think it's a neat thing for these guys to be able to just market themselves at a truly professional level and work the craft, because there is a craft to it, and kind of make money off of and be, because here's the fact of the matter. When you're 18 years old, even younger, you are an adult. You are, and if you can make money and support yourself and get a head start at life. There's so many people in swimming in debt, all sorts of college debt. If you can kind of get a head start on your life and create generational wealth potentially, that's really awesome. So that I'm really kind of looking at it as just a progressive way for younger people to jumpstart their careers. That's always been kind of a passion of mine. Became a passion of mine when I was at Syracuse. Just really fell in love with academics and education, and people using their art or their creativity or their talents to kind of find creative careers out of them. So something that really, really, like I said, I'm still riding the high of it, and I don't know what they're going to do about the threats of it, but I do think they'll figure it out.
We live in a place, John, where things are ever changing, especially in college football, and there is this now opportunity, like we've been talking about, for players to take a hold of their name, image, and likeness and make something off of it. If you could be a student athlete today, how do you envision using name, image, and likeness to your advantage? What would you want to do? How would you attack it? What are some things kind of in the moment, right? I get in a DeLorean, Back to the Future, Doc Brown's with us, Michael J. Fox, Marty McFly. We jump in the DeLorean, and I bring you as a student athlete to today's world, and you're playing quarterback at Syracuse. How do you utilize name, image, and likeness personally?
That is an awesome question, and honestly, I have an answer for that. Like, I've always been a music guy, and I was kind of somewhat known for that in the Syracuse locker room and out in the Syracuse community and on Syracuse campus. Always had my headphones in, was always singing, because I grew up, doing choir, doing the musicals, doing the showcases. So I think I'd do something similar to like a YouTube. I would try to like monetize a YouTube channel and get that going and really be a presence, maybe doing musical covers, or that would probably be like my first thing. And then I don't know, I would just try to let my relationship building and my personality, I feel like I've always had kind of a bubbly, outgoing personality, and always been that's always been a strength of mine, my communication and kind of bringing people of all walks together and being a leader and get people to, to achieve a common goal. That's always just been a natural skill of mine. So I think I would have tried to just milk my personality and do something like that. I would definitely want to be in front of a camera, and I probably would just see where that would take me.
And I think that's beautiful. And I love that you had an answer, and I love it's something that you've thought about. Musically, what would you want to do? I mean, you being involved in everything you were involved in, how do you envision it right away? Like, what would you want that YouTube channel to look like? How would you bring the music that you have? How would you bring John Kinder to the world? What would you do?
I think I'd probably just do like a day in the life kind of thing. Like I would have a vlog, if you will. I'd walk around campus and and just kind of storyline and chronicle my day-to-day stuff, my interactions. And then there'd be times where I throw in, like a musical cover or something. And I'm thinking back to the me that I was, at 18 years old, fresh out of Lawrence High School, spunky, full of life, love to dance, would dance at the drop of a hat. You tell me to hit the Dougie, just like that was who I was. So thinking about that, John, I definitely would, I'd ride that train right on through and see how much money I can make off of it.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful, like I said, that you have a vision and you have a thought about it, because there are people out there that had, there was the YouTube channel opportunity where, some people are trying to make money off of different things and they were punished for it. And now we have, the opportunity for that to not be a punishment and to be a real chance for them to build, and not just, the sport that they're playing, but the things that they love. And I think that that's great. I think that that's really, I never knew until it happened that you couldn't have a YouTube channel and monetize it, because, some of these people, it had nothing to do with what they were doing. It's like, this is my music and I'm out here and I'm a wide receiver. So they were totally separate things. And so, I think there is a lot of benefit to name, image, and likeness. I think there's benefit to, obviously, the players making money when everybody's been making money off of them forever. And at the same time, there's a lot of concerns. What do you think about the locker room side of things? You've been in a locker room. You're coaching now within a locker room. What is your thought about a team where this wide receiver gets a deal, but this guy doesn't, or this wide receiver's told, if you get 5 catches a game, we're going to give you an extra $500 a week, and so he wants the quarterback to throw to him, and then the other guy gets a deal and he gets $1,000, so he wants the quarterback to throw to him. What about these, the infighting or the I in team, so to speak, of guys signing deals and having, boosted parts of their deals, bonuses within their deals, and, being in these situations where, the booster wants to see them, or the business owner wants to see them, or whoever wants to see them out there. They want to get out there, and so they go into the huddle and they tell the quarterback, hey, I need one more touchdown to cash in on a $50,000 bonus, and if I get that $50K, you throw the ball to me, then, and not to this guy, then I'll cut you 10 of that $50K. I'll take 40, you take 10. What can you say about that? The fact that these deals within a locker room could affect the dynamic of the locker room.
Yeah, I just think kind of as it goes naturally, as you continue higher in any given sport, it loses its, in my opinion, and I've heard other people say this, but I truly do believe it. The higher you get, the more the sport loses that pureness, that innocence that it once had. I've heard people say before, the best football, and I'm talking NFL guys, the best football I've played in my life was high school football. And it's just because these are guys that you grew up with all your life, since you guys were in grade school, and, you just come up through with them and you get really tight, and there's just a bond and a naturalness that you kind of lose a little bit of that when you get to the college level. There's a lot more self-serving and, me guys. And that's not to say that there's not a true team atmosphere and team kind of vibe, but it just loses, again, some of that pureness. And I've also heard, those same NFL guys say that it kind of kicks up into another gear in that sense when you reach the NFL. There's money involved, there's there's this left tackle making, $20 million, and this, right tackle over here is, in the same meeting room as him is making, half of that. So, yeah, I just think it's one of those things that it's going to kind of ruin the pureness of the game. But I think we're there. I think we'll adopt. I think our culture is very self-serving and me. So I don't think it's far off from. I think it'll be a natural transition.
But if we already have a culture that's me, is it good to continue to go down that road?
No, and you're probably right. It's not. But at the same time, we're talking fairness in terms of the free market and people being able to make money. We shouldn't tell kids that just because they're a part of the NCAA that they can't make that they can't do with someone their age could do if they weren't a part of the NCAA. Like, you know what I mean? I just think if we're talking fairness and progressiveness and all that, then this is a natural kind of transition. Like, this is something that should have probably happened a few years ago. I remember when I was graduating, I think it was the Northwestern football team. They had that quarterback who was a really good runner. He kind of spearheaded this movement with the video game and name, image, likeness. They really made a big push, that Northwestern football team, for players to be, compensated.
Yeah, and I think seeing these things kind of over time, we've seen that the YouTube channel thing, the Northwestern thing, we've seen that there has been this growing kind of this snowball that kind of started to roll and rolled a little bit slower, and then all of a sudden California made a decision on top of all this other stuff. We lost the NCAA football game, which a lot of people loved, because they couldn't justify, name, image, and likeness, but we don't have name, image, and likeness, but we're using the player's likeness in the game, so then they just get rid of the game, and this has brought us where it's brought us today. What is your best piece of advice to a student athlete dealing with the fact that they're all growing up in different places, some great places, some not so good places, some in between? So where they're growing up, what they've been through, obviously they've gone through a pandemic, which is very unique to the world. So from the pandemic to where they're growing up to dealing with normal stuff like friends and dating and all of these things and homework, and add into all of this agents and boosters and name, image, and likeness, what are your, as well as the fact of recruiters, and some people telling them the truth and some selling them a dream and hoping that they buy it, and they're not gonna live up to that. There's contracts that they're gonna sign or handshake that are never gonna happen, and there's ones that that are very much gonna happen. What's your advice to a kid out there right now?
I think it's important that you mentioned that there a lot of those kids are coming from just different backgrounds, in different home situations. So I think I would really approach that conversation differently with each of those kids, but just kind of like a baseline thing, a baseline commentary. I think I would advise kids to pay attention to who's around them right now. Pay attention to who's got you there, who's been in your support system and your supporting cast, all along. And then that's not to say that you're not going to meet people and bring in people to that family. However, just pay attention to your gut instinct and the way that people, the things people say, the way they make you feel, just be very, very aware. And again, keep that supporting cast, keep the main thing, keep that supporting cast close by and in the loop in terms of the decisions that you're making and the people that you're bringing around, because you'll find that, what you think is good for you, other people may be able to give you some wisdom, that you just aren't able to see at that time. I've been 18, 19 years old before, and I remember, thinking I had everything all figured out. And when I just think about who I was and, my frame of thinking now, it's just like, man, oh man. So I do think that these young guys need guidance. They need the right people in their corner. So I think my best advice is to just, keep your day ones with you and make sure that you don't do anything that your gut is telling you is, not the right thing to do.
Coming from John Kinder, from Syracuse to Stony Brook to West Virginia to today being a coach, a father, and a husband here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. John, you've been great to speak on all of the topics and the questions I've had for you, so I'm going to put myself in rapid fire. I'm not going to put you on the hot seat, only me. You can ask me any 3 questions. They could have to do with what we talked about today or literally anything in the world. You can ask me about movies, music, literally anything that's on your mind. You got 3 questions, and I'm going to sit on the hot seat for these 3. So whenever you're ready, fire away.
I love this. First question, dead or alive, if you could have dinner at the Syracuse football field 50-yard line, anyone in the world, living or alive, who would that person be?
I would say if I'm at the Syracuse football field, I'm having dinner with Ernie Davis, and I'm doing that because Floyd Little and I built a beautiful friendship while he was here on this earth, and I know we'll continue that while he's a guardian angel up in heaven. And I look forward to seeing him someday when I'm hopefully 100-something years old and I get to go back home in my sleep. So I love you, Floyd. Jim Brown, I've gotten an interview as well. So I would say I'd love to sit at the 50-yard line with Ernie Davis, pick his brain, and talk with him about his life, the time that he played football, what he took from the world, what he took from the game, what he took from his disease, what he took from God, what he took from faith, what he took from, what he learned in life. And just, I feel like there's so much that can come from a 23-year-old man who was gone too soon. So I'd love to hear what Ernie has to say about what Ernie learned in his life.
That's awesome. Love that answer. Second question. What is on DT's playlist right now? Who, if you open up your music, playing whatever device, whatever you're tuned into, whether Napster or whatever, I'm a YouTube guy myself, but when you turn yours on, what song is playing? What artist is playing?
So I'm all over the place. I'm a very equal opportunity employer. So I have Pentatonics, I have Florida Georgia Line, I have Dan and Shay, I have Danny Goki with the Christian music, I have Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Mace. I like the older stuff, and I like the newer. I like the old R&B, Boys to Men. I have like this R&B, hip hop, a little bit of Macklemore in there. It's like R&B, hip hop, country, and Christian music is all just kind of together. But if you want to know the song I've been playing the most and really working on, because people that know me know that I sing as well and I do music, but I also do some hip hop, and I also like to rap and bring myself into that world. I'm learning The Heart and the Tongue by Chance the Rapper. So that's the song that you'll probably see at the top of my YouTube right now.
Nice. All right. That was dope. And last question. Fourth quarter. 10 seconds left. No timeouts left. Who is your quarterback of choice? Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, or Peyton Manning?
Oh, man. So it's not Aaron Rodgers because, like, the play calling and everything that happened last year, but, like, when they were in the red zone. So it's, I'm a fan of Aaron Rodgers, but something went wrong last year. So I'm going to say between Peyton Manning, I love Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady. I mean, listen, I fought it for a while, but the man's the GOAT. And so I would have to say Tom Brady, close second Peyton Manning, and because the things that come to mind is like Tom Brady comes back and comes back and comes back and comes back. Peyton Manning had a chance to come back and threw an interception against the Saints in the Super Bowl, and then Aaron Rodgers just completely botched some stuff that went on in last year's playoffs. So I'm going to say Tom Brady just because the things that I call to mind are that like 2-minute warning stuff that Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning didn't come through on, and how many times has Tom Brady not come through? So I'm going to have to give it to Tom Brady, and I mean that's
a great explanation because they don't call him the comeback kid for no reason.
Yeah, and so and that brings me back to music too. Don't call it a comeback. So before I hop out of here, you talked about faith. I want to end with that. It's the most important thing to me in the world. It is everything in my life, and I don't push it on anybody. And if somebody brings it up on the show, I always, open up the discussion if someone wants to talk about it. But what does your faith mean to you? I have two questions for you. What does your faith mean to you, kind of how you would describe God in your life? And then secondly, I'm not a husband or a father yet. What is your advice on being a husband and a father?
Wow. Again, you with the loaded questions, man. But it's good stuff, though. It's thought-provoking. I love talking to you. So what does faith mean to me? I mean, the word says, dude, man is innately wicked. There's nothing good in us, and we're broken, and we're nothing without Jesus Christ. And I feel that, and I know that, and that's what my faith means to me. It means that I owe my life to him, and I'll never be good enough. I'll never, be able to be perfect, but I don't have to be, and through his sacrifice. So, if for any of the listeners who are wrestling with their faith, keep on the walk, because the road is narrow, and it's hard, and you'll get off track, but, he forgives you, he loves you, and, keep on the horse, it just fight, as Coach Schaefer used to say, fight the fight. So that's what my faith is to me. I'm thankful for the blood of Jesus Christ, in a nutshell. And I love him dearly. And like I said, I'm not worthy. But that's where I'm at with that. And then my advice as a father, man, fatherhood, when it gets hard, love on them harder. When it gets hard, love on them harder, because I'm realizing this with my 3-year-old, who will be 4 in September. He's John Fitzgerald Kinder III. We call him Trey. He's just growing up so fast right before my eyes. So I'm taking it much slower with my little guy behind him, who's Isaiah, who just turned 1. I'm taking it much slower with him, and I'm appreciating some of the moments of screaming, crying. I'm trying to just put it in a bottle and realize that, they're short-lived moments, and that I got to hang on to them, because they're not here forever. So just soak it up, parents, and love on them, because, the circle of life goes pretty quickly.
And also being a husband, I threw in there as well. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Oh, and being a husband, You're always wrong, husbands. You're never right. You are never right. And the sooner you can get that through your mind, the better off you'll be. We're never right. No, I'm just kidding. I love my wife dearly. I met her when we were going to Syracuse my freshman year, so we've been kind of rocking for a long time now. And I actually attribute my growth spiritually to her, a great deal, because she got me going to church when we were at Cuse, and she pulled me out of bed on a Sunday morning and say, no, we got to go. You're getting up, you're going. And I can honestly say I never regretted, not a single Sunday, that I never wanted to get up. I shouldn't say never, but I have to say I never once regretted, waking up, going. I always felt so much better and so much more free, and just more like me after attending church with her. So I really do owe a lot to my wife. I love her dearly, and she gave me 2 boys. So yeah, that's that. Just love on them. I don't have any advice, because I'm still trying to figure it out myself, but just love on them.
That coming from John Kinder, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. This is how we are concluding TGIF this week, and a perfect way to do it. John, as always, thank you for everything, telling us your story, giving us a background for the people that don't know you, and the people that do. They got to follow you maybe on parts of your road, but not every single part, and the people that have been there from the beginning, to talking about name, image, and likeness, to, of course, a conversation in rapid fire, and speaking on being a father, being a husband, and most importantly, the biggest thing that we talked about today is faith in God. So thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the time. Thank you for all the places you were willing to go in this conversation. And the only thing I could say to you is I appreciate you as always, and the next time we talk will be a lot sooner than the last time.
For sure, DT. Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on again. Much appreciated. Always love. I'll continue to see your work and like it and share it, and hope that others will tune in and enjoy what I enjoy about you.
Coming once again this morning from John Kinder. We'll take a step aside on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our final fast break of the day and of the week here inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. We'll be back right after this.
Cafe Kubal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafekubal.com. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpassnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you download the app on the Google Play or Apple App Store and then jump in the car with that special someone, the family, whoever it may be. Jump out there and go enjoy yourself some Millhouse Market, from their homemade breads as well as their desserts, their quinoa bowls, rice bowls, salads, brick oven pizzas, and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski, ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds. The Millhouse Market is where it's at, and I love so many different things on their menu that I think the most difficult thing you'll find on the app is how long it takes you to choose between your favorites. Head out to the Millhouse Market Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And they're open each of those days with their drive-through pickup window, as well as their general store where you can buy local products from local companies, even outside of the Millhouse, because they like helping so many different people in the community. And, of course, you can dine in their indoor restaurant, and the bistro menu changes every weekend, including this weekend. So make your way over to the Millhouse Market and try something new today on a specialty menu you only have this week. 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Worth the drive every single time. With that being said, I want to say thanks to everybody that was on the show today. Shout out to our trio of segments we get to do every TGIF, which I love. The Annoying Moment of the Week, the longest standing segment on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt. Recap of that, don't talk about movies and spoil them for people or TV shows, and definitely don't stand outside of a theater the day the movie came out and talk about it in front of the welcoming doors to the theater. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver, spreading positivity and cleaning up the weeds that are in your life and deciding if you're going to be led by fear or led by love, led by God, or led by doubt. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Juanita Ward, Chick-fil-A, Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, bringing that to us, presenting that to us. Syracuse football, getting the top dog of the week honor for scheduling Tennessee in 2025 for the Chick-fil-A kickoff game in Atlanta, Georgia at Mercedes-Benz Stadium where the Falcons play. Big shout out to them. Top dog of the week coming from K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. And then speaking with us on faith, football, fatherhood, marriage, name, image, and likeness, and so much more. My guy, John Kinder, rejoining the show, Syracuse and Stony Brook quarterback alum. So, with all of that being stated, thank you all. Such an amazing show today and a lot of great and positive stuff. Hopefully you take something from it that'll help you treat somebody better and treat yourself better. Have a fantastic day, folks. God bless. No stress. Do your best. And we'll talk with you soon.